a birth certificate issued by the births and deaths in this country that says I'm a Ghanaian, can I use it to prove my nationality as a Ghanaian?
The birth certificate will never tell you that you are Ghanaian. The birth certificate records where you were born and the nationality of your parents.
So the information on that certificate that says that my mother is a Ghanaian, my father is a Ghanaian, would that be sufficient to prove my nationality as a Ghanaian?
Will be sufficient to arrive at the conclusion that you are Ghanaian. It's the beginning.
What the hell is this? What the hell is this? What? Ghana pa. So, if the birth certificate cannot prove that your mother is Ghanaian, what can prove that your mother is Ghanaian? So I'm for munya would say. Ye busa mami we na ote Supreme Court or unanimous for na omoka say birth certificate, passport, any idea you can end to mean chess or a Ghanaian. And then the opposite Chief Justice the Yebusan say. And the birth certificate no tama. Your Columbia your mother, father, and akorano. Ehono umame ebetro ni din so e Ghanani. O papa betro ni din so e Ghanani. Ye wi na wa akorano e betro so e Ghanani efiri so umame no papa ye Ghana for. Now na omu busa maami we say Otiwo sisia no edie ne ma obi ye Ghana ni efiri Supreme Court no ese birth certificate na o maami din wo so o papa din wo so no a wo so din wo so abra ebe wo no eno yanjintum passport no so yanjintum te die ne be ma kire so e Ghana ni or start or say nationality is a matter of law.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Go back to my beautiful Judge Tr0uble. Madam Tr0uble asem me catch them that say she will be Chief Justice. Man can't them. Me catch them around 2021. 2020 and I'm catch them say Tr0uble right after the election petition and I'm catch Ghana for she will be the Chief Justice. Man can't them. I know. I have known for a long time. And the kind of people I talk to, they know more than you people what you know. So every time, me talk on but I didn't want to say because me so obey Chief Justice. I knew, and it wasn't surprised to me when I heard the Kufuor saying Tr0uble should be Chief Justice because the conversation has gone on a long time. They know why Tr0uble should be Chief Justice. It has been planned over 3 years ago. Saying Tr0uble going to be the Chief Justice is no news. There's nothing new here. It is the same regime. It is the same regime. You see, it's not about who appointed who. Let me tell you people. If J. Kufuor nominates a Chief Justice, somebody to the Supreme Court, if Atamils nominates somebody to the Supreme Court, John Dramani Mahama or J.J. Rawlings, let's go back. I want to tell you something. Sometimes people are making this argument. Oh, this person was nominated by the party in opposition. So how can this judge be against the party in opposition? It's one of the most childish arguments you can ever hear. People change. People have reasons why they take some decisions. I say people change. When you give power to people, the way they react is different from when they didn't have the power. So somebody might have been chosen by J.J. Rawlings, but when that person gets the power and now that person sees the power to be sweet, they can change and use that power against J.J. Rawlings' party. The same as Kufuor. So nobody should sit anywhere else and say, this person nominated this person. How can Tr0uble was nominated by Atamils? How can Tr0uble say things against the NDC or be in the Supreme Court to judge? The fact is, when they get there, they feel that they are God and they will do what they think is right for them and where the wind will blow them, especially when it comes to the issue whereby they need more power. When they get to know that they are closer to a bigger power, they will do everything possible to attract the eye of the bigger power. So the argument of this person nominated this person and because he was nominated by MPP, they cannot speak against it. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. What you need to understand, these people are humans. I can change tomorrow, you can change tomorrow. It depends the condition you are in. And these people there, they have shown continuously that they can switch, they can do things against the constitution. Were we not here when they told us that as a Ghanaian, you cannot use a passport? But when these judges, all of them, today, all the Supreme Court judges, when they were maybe in High Court or Circuit Court, they would have stood up against this. But it's when you are getting closer to bigger power, when you are getting closer to bigger power, which is the magnet, what happens is that bigger power attracts you. Nothing distracts you. All that you need to do is that do everything possible to get to the bigger power. So when people go to the Supreme Court, things can change. Their mentality can change. Their ideology can change. Their judgments can change. Their perspective can change. So things change when people get into different environment and people find themselves in different conditions. So I would never sit here and vouch for any judge who is in the Circuit Court or High Court or Appeals Court and say when this judge goes to the Supreme Court, look at what she did or he did. No. When the moment they enter Supreme Court, they are totally different people. Now let's talk about Madam Tr0uble. Alleged bribe monies don't get to judges. Justice Tr0uble. Now, and the Chief Justice to be, she was being interviewed, and the issue of bribe, we were all in this country when Anas Arumia Anas did a thorough job on our judges, some of them, and we got to know, say, judge for edge banching, edge body, edge kudu, ebi mukuraje besen. Minim judge bia, or no, or to me, fre client. Now I catch and say, if you can't pay me money, bring me fish. I know a judge in Ghana. Nancy odi controversial case be Nancy. Nancy one controversial case involving a journalist in the Ghana. That judge, or to be fair client, or to can say, you said you were going to give me this money. If you don't have the money, bring me fish. Because sir client, or your fisherman. Omoje fish. One fish can buy a bit to my fish. One fish can buy a bit to my more. Yes, these are judges. It is not like we are looking at angels at the Supreme Court. No, we are looking at humans. Now, this woman is saying that se obiji usika ewo court se oye judicial service ni oye juma court na oji usika se or the bread jaja. You should see that say sasi can endru judge no. But when we watch the announced documentary, there were judges who were working with judicial service members. They were taking the money and bringing to the judges their office. Now, I listened to this woman's statement, and she made such an interesting statement. She did not do what? She did not do what? She did not, at the end of the day, rubbish totally. But she said that 99% of the time, the money does not get to the judges, meaning the 1%, it gets to the judges. And if 1% is able to penetrate, then it means that some judgments have come out that were not supposed to be the way they were. We know the institution is an institution whereby a human institution. We also need to admit to say there are more judges taking bribes in Ghana. We all need to be honest and speak on the matter and say we need to find ways to bring it down. Who doesn't know that Ghana Police Service, when it comes to corruption, about 87% of them, they are corrupt? Who doesn't know? But today they will tell you the police is not corrupt. We know most policemen on the streets in Ghana take bribe. You cannot convince the Ghanaian who is paying the bribe taker and the bribe giver. You cannot say, because the people doing the business are doing the sellers, the buyers know they are sellers. The buyers know they are sellers. Those paying bribe to judges, they know they are sellers. So it's not something unique. Madam Tr0uble was trying to protect the judiciary. Like we don't know what is happening in the judiciary. We know. As far as you were not able to tell us emphatically that 100% you believe the judiciary, especially the judges, nobody takes bribe, then it means the probability of some judges taking bribe is high. This is law. You told us today that you look at the facts, and these are the facts. You could not boldly, emphatically say that no judge takes bribe. So if you have been able to give a room to 1%, the probability that you have also taken bribe before is high, because I don't know who is taking bribe and who isn't. We are talking about logical reasoning here. And as we speak today, if you say 99% of the time the money doesn't get to the judges, then it means that 1% of the time it gets to the judges. And if you are talking about judges in Ghana, you are also a judge, meaning you might have taken a bribe before. So you need to understand, it is always good to come out and let the people know this is a human institution. These things can happen. These things might be happening. We need to work hard. You, the people, and us. We need to meet at the point to understand that this is the law. We need to make all these things unattractive. That is what you say for people to know you are being realistic. But you don't try and play that judicial technicality like a champion to make you think, say, you know everything. With all due respect, I respect you for your profession, what you have done. But we are not stupid because the people are the payers. They know they are sellers. We need to sometimes respect the intelligence of the people. Especially when a documentary has been put together for us to see judges taking money through their secretaries and judicial service members. So at least you need to basically take your time and respect the intelligence of the people a little bit. I have no problem of you being Chief Justice, no. But you should not also underestimate the way we think. You should not, because we are humans. No judge walks in the street to go take bribe. Judges who have been taking bribe in Ghana, they know who gives them the bribe. And the people who are giving the bribe are also Ghanaians, and they know. So don't let it look like we are stupid. We are not. Just be honest, be frank, let people know what you can do. You are not Jesus Christ. You are not Mary. You cannot solve all problems, but you can try. You can let people know that you are being realistic enough. Do not sit there and say 90%, 99% alleged bribe monies don't go to judges. Can you speak for every judge? Speak for yourself. Just tell them, I've been a judge for all these years. No money has gotten to me as bribe. I cannot speak for my colleagues, but I believe in the institution. I believe in the judiciary. I know there might be loopholes. We are humans. We are fallible. We might make mistakes, but we will do our best. If I become the Chief Justice, I will make this unattractive to the people so that we, the judges, too, things like this, we will not be tempted. That is how you speak. Let people know you are being realistic. Don't make people think that we are stupid. And I respect you people. You see, sometimes I want you people to show us some respect. That's all I need. That is all that I need. But don't let it look like we don't know the judiciary. Don't let it look like we don't know that judges are taking money. We know. We all want that to stop. You need to show that at least you will do it. You'll be putting some effort. Since Enin Yeboah became the Chief Justice, he has been one of the worst Chief Justice in Ghana. The judiciary the respect people have for the judiciary has dropped. No confidence in the judiciary. No trust for the judiciary. You need to bring in some kind of naturality, some honesty, some realism. Let people know you are also human. Your colleagues are human. They go through problems. They can be convinced, but you will do your part. You will try. You will make it more attractive to the point whereby you try and stop making it attractive to your colleagues and also the judicial members. If people in JUSAC are the ones who are leading people to pay judges, then try and make it better for them. Today, the JUSAC people, the judicial service workers, they are on strike. Today, if they are on strike, that means they have been hungry for a long time and they have gone against the ethics of the job. Majority of them have taken bribes, and you never know, 1% might have landed on the desk of the judges. That is what we are talking about. This is the reality. Let's stop this. Please, ma'am, you will become the Chief Justice. Don't do these things. One thing I will tell you, and one advice I will give you: you are older than me. You know law. I don't know law. Do not underestimate the intelligence of Ghanaians. Don't do that. That is what Enin Yeboah did. And what he did was he soiled you people, everybody. He underestimated everybody, every Ghanaian. He thought everybody is a fool. He pushed us into a bin, thinking that everybody should listen to what he would say. And he dragged you guys around. Today, the judiciary has lost that respect because of Enin Yeboah's greed. So you are a new face. Bring some real statements. Let the people start having confidence in you. You are still sounding like somebody who will take over from Enin Yeboah and cannot do anything. We are still with Judge Tr0uble. We won't vote on you until we get reasons for SC or Supreme Court order on Ascent North. And this for no more panel also and the verti Madam Tokonu. Almost say they don't want to vote on Madam Tokonu until they get the woman's opinion or reason on the judgment on question. Now, so I'm for any kumewu for my church him. So court, especially Supreme Court, there's something called reasoning. Say, we have 9 judges now case in so. Now say nipa num eka se Kevin Taylor wabokro no yenko jeli no. Na 9 ka se omo mpene so omo dwen se Kevin Taylor ombokro no ondifo a. Mo ka se Kevin Taylor bokro no ene mo ka se Kevin Taylor bokro no. E wo se obia etro adikudie ntia ogina so about that conclusion. Now so about the American judiciary and our Supreme Court, there is something they do. America Supreme Court no say obudi asama na say 5 against 4. What happens and then they say, and let me mami chuma go see bibi so. There is a reason why there's a Supreme Court. There is a reason why there is an appeals court. There is a reason why there is a high court. You know the reason? Anke Krobiano, anke bet my court bako. Ni akase unya asema ako court. Yedi wia asem ko anamebwa, like in the ancient days. But there's a reason why there are classes of court, any stages of court. The Supreme Court is the creme de la creme for a reason. Now, so a high court, a 1 judge that so. When you go to the appeals court, a judges 3. Over Supreme Court, normally 9 judges, even on even numbers, right? 7 judges. Now, the reason why over Supreme Court, Debiano, unique from the other courts, and I say, in the Supreme Court, over British America, they never unanimously agree on anything. On paper, they can all say, I voted against, but I agree. But I bet you the reason why I voted for, but I disagreed. When you flip it and you come to Ghana Supreme Court, the Ghana Supreme Court is basically a unanimous Supreme Court. Now, the moment you have a court in Ghana that is consistently coming out with verdict that is unanimous, it is no more a Supreme Court. There's a specific reason why the courts have different head and stages. They expect that in the Supreme Court, there's something called, say, they need to have diverse opinions. That is why when you go to the Supreme Court, you have even number entraso. You don't get 10 people or you don't get 8 people. You always get 7, 9 because the court has been made in such a way that they are sitting there, but they are not supposed to agree 100%. There should be other opinions about every single thing in front of them. And it's a unique Supreme Court, you know, unique. In America, when there's a 5-4, people sit down and they demand for a reasoning. You can say reasoning now. Right individual judge be a tro. There are 2 things they can do. The group are A5 say Kevin Taylor D4 Yanko Jelino no. That group can sit and choose one person and say write our reasoning. Now that person just don't write the reasoning. They sit, they discuss, they look at everybody's reasoning, and then one person will be given the assignment that okay, look at all of us. This is our reasoning. Now go and write our reason. Until I can't say any 5 no. Say, vote against it. So they will have to come together, sit, analyze the judgment, and then write a reason why they all said Kevin Taylor is not guilty. Now the moment you come to Ghana Supreme Court, now every day the 9 judges sitting there, the same reasoning. Every day the 9 judges sitting there, the same reason. Then at the end of the day, we don't need a Supreme Court because nobody have other opinions. Nobody has other opinions because the opinions are all the same. Then the Supreme Court in Ghana is equally as a what? Is equally as a high court. Because at the end of the day, the 9 people become one body and they're always unanimous. When one judge comes out and makes a judgment in the high court, it is not different from the Supreme Court of Ghana. Because when the Supreme Court of Ghana comes out and gives a unanimous decision, it's seen as one. So today this woman was asked, why are you not coming out with your reasoning as an individual? She struggled a little bit. She struggled because the issue here is the Supreme Court has become, one way or the other, a political court that does not even want to explain itself when it makes judgments. So you see our Supreme Court as a court whereby you are able to predict what the court will say. The American Supreme Court, there are some judges you say they are conservative judges. Some you say they are Democrat, but you cannot predict the outcome. Because when they write their reasonings and you read, you will understand the reason why this person said, I'm voting against or I'm voting for. But in Ghana, it is not like that. The Supreme Court sits and it's unanimous. So we don't need a Supreme Court. At this point, we can rely on the appeals court or on the high court. Because when one high court judge makes a decision, it's one unanimous decision. When we come to the Supreme Court and the 9 judges make a decision and we still call it a unanimous decision, what's the difference between the Supreme Court and the high court? It means that people don't have other opinions in the Supreme Court. And the same thing happened in election 2020 court issues. You cannot have a Supreme Court that is always coming out and saying that we are unanimous on something. Then we don't need a Supreme Court. We don't need a Supreme Court. In the end, if you want to say, Madam Tokonu, what is your reasoning? You voted unanimous. Say yes. Kwesi should be kicked out of Parliament because his identification and his citizenship issues. Now, what was your basis for coming to that conclusion? Because you see, you can say judge. Like today, I saw her talk a lot about what she has done. She was always saying that people should not judge her when she entered the Supreme Court. People should go all the way back and look at her work, and now they can know the kind of judge she is. Your work before, you were able to write your reasoning. So people followed your reasoning. That is why that was able to propel you to the Supreme Court. Now you're in the Supreme Court. Show us that the reasonings you did in the lower courts before you got here, you can apply that reasoning to become an independent thinker, even though you are part of a unanimous team. Now it is looking like the judges are not independently, they cannot think for themselves. They are always ready to sit in that group of unanimity. And I say, being a part of a unanimous group. So you see our Supreme Court, it is no more a Supreme Court. Under Ininyabwa, it has never been a Supreme Court. Now, if even there is a 5-4 verdict over USR, even though the 5 it be choosing the no betro a reason no, individually the judges do something. They come out with their own reasoning why they support the unanimous decision and why at the end of the day their reasoning was part of the final reason of we the 5. Now, Madam has not been able to tell us her reasoning for doing what? Being part of the unanimous that said Judge questions should walk out of Parliament. But still, she wants to be the Chief Justice of Ghana. We cannot always hide behind technicalities to make people think that we are smarter than them. To be called the Chief Justice of of Ghana, you need to come with something unique. You need to stand out. You should not be seen as one of them. You should not be seen as one of them. You should not be seen as one of the soldiers, the red soldier, the red army, one of the soldiers who were always in the unanimous. You should at least show that even though I was part of the Supreme Court that sat on unanimous cases, I am going to show something different. The woman could not come out to tell Ghana that this was my reasoning. After the sitting, after the judgment, this was my reasoning. She was going around and saying that, a group, we need to sit in conference. What you are doing is showing that when you become CJ, the same thing Ininyabwa was doing, you are going to do same. So at least, I'm beginning to think that I'm beginning to think we need more than this. And I know the kind of scrutiny that this woman got today, when you compare America for Congress and the Senate, when they are scrutinizing judges to go to the Supreme Court, it's like 1 against 10. You see it. In Ghana, in America, okay, say you be you Supreme Court judge, they go to your day one you were born. Your ex-girlfriends, the girls you dated in school. We are talking about your psychological life. We are talking about your spiritual life. We are talking about everything. Because you should be fine gold to sit there. But even in Ghana, when you try to push a little bit, members of parliament will be sitting there and fighting you. If somebody is scrutinizing Judge Tukonu or Justice Tukonu, nobody hates her. Madame Tukonu's husband is a pharmacist. At a point, he really struggled. Now, if Madame Tukonu's husband was in America, at a point, Madame Tukonu's husband, he went bankrupt. How did he survive? How did he bring his company back? How did he get on his feet? Was he friends with a politician? Was he given a hand by a politician? Was he into some conversation? These things come in. Was Madame Tukonu's influence involved for him to get back to his feet? This is what you look out for. The last time I saw Paul Adomotri doing this thing of Madame Tukonu, where she was sitting on the bench, she was questioning Tr0uble and make Tr0uble look bad. That is not how. To bring somebody up there as a CJ, with all due respect to the woman, what she knows in law, I have nothing. I don't have anything against her. But it is my responsibility to criticize and scrutinize her before I put her there. So when we sit here and we start to criticize and ask questions, it's not because we hate anybody. We have docket on people. It does not make them criminal. It rather makes them strong and clean them up. For all you know, there are people sitting in the High Court, Appeals Court. There are people in politics thinking that Madame Tukonu's husband was supported by a politician, and through that, Madame Tukonu has done some job for some politicians. But if you give the woman the chance and opportunity to speak on that matter, she can convince those people who are there, who are still contemplating or who are still saying Madame Tukonu husband. So she can clear it. The reason why we keep asking and pushing is that we want people to clear themselves, attain their integrity and move. Into Paul, I don't want to know Metro. Madame Tukonu, she was part of the group and asked the questions she asked, but that thing, it doesn't do anything. It is comedy. Brony Shobos with Jimmy. And me sitting here asking Madame Tukonu questions does not mean I hate her. Does not mean I don't want her. No. Because she has worked hard her life to get to this point. But we deserve some answers. We deserve to push. We deserve her to clean some things. You want to tell me Madame Tukonu herself sitting there, you think she's Jesus Christ? She knows. She's expecting some questions that are not coming. And it does not mean that those questions makes her look bad or she has committed crime, but she expects them because she wants to clear air on it. So these are the things we do. You saw the Americans when they were vetting judges to the Supreme. You saw it. People cried. Judges were crying. You know what? They will let you know that position you are going to fill. You can turn this country into a ditch. You can submerge our democracy into anything. So you need to clean you as a fine gold before you go up there. So let's not do this to ourselves. Today, Madame Tukonu was asked about birth certificates. Let's listen to her response when she was questioned about birth certificates.
By the court. And on the 17th of July 2020, My Joy Online reported, and he was quoting our colleague, the deputy minister at the time of justice, as saying that, for instance, birth certificates are not a proof of nationality. And this is a comment he made in relation to a ruling from the Supreme Court. When I take the form you fill to get a birth certificate, for instance, they call it a birth registration form, Form A. B, a portion called B, particulars of mother. Under that, 9, it states a national of. So the mother has to state whether he's a Ghanaian or she's a Ghanaian or not. And then when you come to C, Under that, 16. Also, the father, you have to state the national of the father. When you come to the certificate that is issued to the person, it is quite clearly written the nationality of the person, because the person have ticked the two boxes. The mother or the father is a Ghanaian. Therefore, he or she qualified to be a Ghanaian. So if today, the ruling, according to our colleague, is that a birth certificate is just a mere record of birth, what then is a proof of nationality in this country? And I will be very happy, because I see in front of me probably the most senior people in the judicial in this country. And I think Ghanaians who are ordinary like me may want to know, if I hold my Ghanaian passport, is it a proof of my nationality? Is my birth certificate a proof of my nationality? So I want to understand the understanding of that ruling, why it is as if a birth certificate is not a proof of nationality. Meanwhile, on the form, you will have to certify clearly that you are a national before you are given a certificate as a national of this country.
Honorable Member, Honorable Chair, citizenship is a matter of law. Nationality is a matter of law. Certain jurisdictions, being born in that place makes you a citizen of that country. In our country, being born in Ghana doesn't make you a citizen of Ghana. It is your relationship with your mother, it is your mother's identity, your father's identity, it is your lineage that determines your citizenship. So, that form records, that form is actually an international requirement. We must know where everybody is born. That form assists to know your antecedents. But beyond that, your nationality is derived from the information on that form. It is not the evidence of your nationality. It is the beginning of appreciating how your nationality must be determined. It's an originating process.
So if I hold a birth certificate duly issued by a state institution in Ghana, Registrar of Births and Deaths, and it states nationality, Ghanaian, are you saying that that is not enough proof of the nationality of the bearer of that certificate?
May I answer you this way? If you had an English person come and live in Ghana and have a baby in Ghana, that person would have a birth certificate. But that person's record of the parents on that birth certificate would indicate that they are not Ghanaian. So the certificate is a record of where he was born. It is not an indication of the citizenship.
I've already said that in the generation of the certificate, I quoted on birth registration form A, part B, particulars of mother, because if your mother is a Ghanaian, a child from that mother can claim.
Honorable Member, from the birth certificate, if your mother is Ghanaian, if your father is Ghanaian, then we can conclude that you are Ghanaian. But from that certificate, if your mother is not Ghanaian, your father is not Ghanaian, that certificate is a record that you are not a Ghanaian. So it is a record that allows us to, I am doing legal deduction. I don't know how else to express myself.
So can I use a birth certificate issued by the births and deaths in this country that says I'm a Ghanaian? Can I use it to prove my nationality as a Ghanaian?
The birth certificate will never tell you that you are Ghanaian. The birth certificate records where you were born and the nationality of your parents.
So the information on that certificate that says that my mother is a Ghanaian, my father is a Ghanaian, would that be sufficient to prove my nationality as a Ghanaian?
will be sufficient to arrive at the conclusion that you are Ghanaian. It's the beginning.
What the hell is this? What the hell is this? What? Ghana pa. So, if the birth certificate cannot prove that your mother is Ghanaian, what can prove that your mother is Ghanaian? So I'm for munya abotse. Ye busa maami wei na ote Supreme Court oka unanimous for na omoka say birth certificate, passport, any idea you can nyina entumi nkyere so ye Ghana ni. And then the opeso Chief Justice the busa ne say. And the birth certificate no tama your Colombia yatro mother, father, and akora no. Eho no o maame ebetro ni din so ye Ghana ni. O papa betro ni din so ye Ghana ni. Ye wi na wo akora na ebetro so ye Ghana ni efiri so o maame no papa ye Ghana for. Now na omu busa maame we say otiwo sisia no edie ne ma obi ye Ghana ni efiri so Supreme Court no ese birth certificate na o maami din wo so o papa din wo so no a wo so din wo so abra ebe wo no eno yanjintum passport no so yanjintum te die na be ma kire so e Ghana ni or start or say nationality is a matter of law. Or say nationality eye emransam so obegia tu so ye beka so ye Ghana ni eye mrasam eno no maami biem sa ka say being born in Ghana does not make you a Ghanaian. If you say yemra no nkyere sa and America say obi wa ofri English o ye English ni ebi abroni ne yere o ma betena Ghana na o ma wo o ba Ghana even though no birth certificate no e be kire ne papa din ne mama din no e ma akwara no nya Ghana e ma ne nya Ghana ni osako ne mo say lineage determines citizenship. My men say lineage and a chere or citizenship. You guess a lineage ebia entoa obo ene wase baby wase free wechi ene na chere say we Ghana ni anasa wonya Ghana ni into wunchi ana eye entoa ebusia ene wunchi bia obo no ene na betuma chere say we Ghana ni osaka say sa birth certificate no ye de mawa ono no ka se eye originating process intende ye wo Ghana ni na sa ne maame ne papa eko e birth certificate say me ekua mansa ene me kwame mansa ye ba kwame amponsa ye di hihye so a o se sa paper no improve say we Ghana ni na eno na kire se afei na wo be kire process na kire so we Ghana ni. Now, I'll say the Supreme Court of Ghana, they have disappointed our forefathers. They have erred and they need to accept it. Now, in Samna Mami Wekano, Echrepefe say the Supreme Court, they need to humble themselves and tell Ghanaians election 2020, before election 2020, that decision was to favor Akufo-Addo and the MPP. And it was basically to go against Voltarians. Simple as that. Now, the Mamene Kenina, me pese busa say birth certificate and to mean say o mami a Ghana ni, o papa a Ghana ni, and na wonso a Ghana ni a na die enkrata ana certificate ne be kire say o mami o papa a Ghana for. Because o mami o papa so o mukuta birth certificate and o mutumi fail o birth certificate. Now so o ka kire me say me mami na me papa omo ya Ghana for no omo birth certificate to me prove say omo ya Ghana ni into the mature paper no so no e ma me ya Ghana ni a. Then let's move back to me ma me papa omo so dey na kire say omo ya Ghana for and na omo so ma me ni omo papa no dey na kire say omo ya Ghana for because we need a documentation to prove that somebody is a Ghanaian. Meti America krum ha me wo ana me wo me ba no. So ba my American passport ma ye tro nationality American. Say me ya home America ha me ya me passport no ye je me birth certificate. It is a okọ me document mo a I was originally place of birth Ghana, but nationality no American. The birth certificate will show where you are born, where you are from. I have naturalized. I'm an American, but I was naturally not born in America. Inter-Americans are particular. I can never be the president of America because my place of birth is not America. Even though me a Ghanaian, my American, no, American in and out, no, my children can be president of the United States of America because their place of birth is America. Now, this is the situation. You go to Ghana, and then you tell me, say, my mother and father who are Ghanaians, they vouch for me and write that yawo me waha, me mama ya unanimity, me papa ya mfantini. Now they coming to write, you are telling me, say, they are not Ghanaians because they don't have a documentation to prove some Ghana for. So who is a Ghanaian today in Ghana? So you judge or Justice Amugui, Madam Tukonu, today, if I ask you, what makes you Ghanaian? Are you going to tell me it is because your father and mother are Ghanaians? Now prove to me if your mother and father are Ghanaians, because they need to prove to me that their birth certificate is just a document, it's a originating process. So there should be an original process that makes them Ghanaians. So it's an unending search. If you want to prove that you are Ghanaian, as we sit in Ghana today, if you want to prove to me you are Ghanaian, it will go all the way to pay, because you cannot bring one document to tell me that your father was Ghanaian and your mother was Ghanaian. Papa the birth certificate so they are not Ghanaians because they cannot prove that they are Ghanaians. They also need to go find their mother and father's birth certificate to prove. So we keep going and going. So this is very, very dangerous. You know why? Now, from what this woman is saying, yet Ghana, one day, Pakistan never be president of Ghana. You know why? Oh, say there are Liberians in Ghana. Say it is Ghana, they know. But they are Nigerians. They are Liberians and Nigerians. Now, Liberia ni awatina krom Ghana for 10-15 years. Mamra ne say okuta oya Liberian today Liberia ni ba Ghana 2 years. Na se obewo ne ba wo Ghana. Na se at the end of the day birth certificate wo na otro Kwame Amoto. Sorry, Kwame Amoto is an old friend. Ebia Kwame Ansa oya Liberian ni na watro ne yeresu din na atro ne ba ne din. In the next 20 years, this young man can come and say, I want to be the president of Ghana. Now, when you ask this gentleman, what proves that you are Ghanaian? The gentleman will tell you that my father and mother, they fill this form and that they are Ghanaians. Now, hardly in Ghana can you even point out a Liberian today. So a Liberian or a Nigerian can come one day and test our courts and say, I want to run for the highest office in Ghana. And they will ask him, what makes you a Ghanaian? For all you know, a Liberian who was born here by the mom, who is a Liberian, and a father who is a Liberian, their birth certificate is showing that this person, the parents are Liberians. Now, can you prove that they are Ghanaians and not Liberians? If the parents write in the Omoko hospital, now say Liberia for me, you know, I'm 10 years. Omoko Tr0uble hospital say we are Ghanaians because we have stayed in Ghana for 10 years. Now say, and the Akoradi be 35 years, not so the president. Now Akoradi ko yi ni birth certificate, ba no ka say, mema amene me papa. Omukuta Liberia ding, ba omu ya Ghana for. How are we going to determine that they are not Ghanaians? Because you cannot just use somebody's name to say you are not Ghanaian. You are talking about lineage. Which lineage are you talking about? My name is Kevin Taylor. It's a totally two English names. You cannot disqualify me from being the president of Ghana because I'm called Kevin Taylor. You cannot disqualify somebody because he's carrying an Ethiopian name. That does not justify, say, Onye Ghanani. He might have Ethiopian name, but he is born in Ghana with a Ghanaian parent or Ghanaian parents. Now, how do you determine somebody's parents are Ghanaians? Because you are telling me if even they prove a birth certificate, still they need to prove more that they are not Ghanaians. How do they prove it? If they go bring their uncles, the uncles will need to prove with something that they are Ghanaians. Now, if somebody goes to take Ghana card, and at the end of the day, or a Liberian in a Ghana need be guarantee mana. Now, the guarantor system is not there. Now, the guarantor system, Ghana card and the Ghana phone. When they want to be president today, and they say, I want to run, no, because say, as minimum no. Never put the free child by. Onye Ghana ni. Now, Busan say, wo, yaso your child in here. How can you prove so onye Ghana ni no child ni? How can you prove that a Nigerian is not Ghanaian? How can you prove that a Nigerian is a Nigerian but not a Ghanaian? You can't, because there's no final document that will prove that this Nigerian is a Ghanaian. Because if he brings his father and mother's birth certificate, or his birth certificate, or if he brings his birth certificate, his father and mother are in the nationality Ghanaians. Now, how can you prove that the father and mother are not Ghanaians? If they bring their birth certificate and they tell you that the birth certificate is showing Ghanaians, how are you going to prove that that birth certificate is fake? And I said they are not real Ghanaians. So this is an unending expedition. The Supreme Court has put us in a situation whereby our citizenship has become an unending expedition, whereby all Ghanaians are on an expedition to find why they are Ghanaians and how they can be Ghanaians. And this is the Chief Justice to be we are interviewing. We have allowed some politicians to destroy our courts. We have allowed these people, this MPP Ekufuado, to destroy our citizenship. Listening to this woman is painful. Listening to this woman is painful. Because in the next 5-7 years, somebody, a foreigner, a refugee in Ghana can claim that he wants to be president of Ghana. How do you stop that person? Are you going to say the name is Abdul Rabik and that he doesn't sound Ghanaian? No. He's holding a Ghana card. A Nigerian holding a Ghana card today in the next 10 years can become a president of the Republic of Ghana. How do you stop the Nigerian? Because how did he get a Ghana card? Somebody with a Ghana passport also guaranteed for him, or somebody who had the birth certificate then guaranteed for him. So who is a Ghanaian? Who is a real Ghanaian? You, Madam Tokon, what makes you a Ghanaian? Can you prove to me that you are a Ghanaian? Because if you show me your birth certificate, you are saying that it is a what? It is a generating or whatever document. Now, if you bring your parents' document to show me that they are nationals of Ghana, what shows that they are Ghanaians? Because it is just a birth certificate. It is a document. It does not prove anything. So tell me, who is a Ghanaian? We are in deep shit. Yabetna na Lebanese ni abedi president of Ghana. Yabetna na Chad ni abedi president of Ghana. In the next few years, and some years to come, very soon, a Nigerian will pop up and you become a Ghanaian. Because if a Nigerian is having a Ghana card, he's more Ghanaian than a Ghanaian whose father and mother are Ghanaians. Supreme Court na say mine enkwasi abrofo na yaka babedru a baby ayedu sisi a whole Chief Justice to be cannot define clearly whether she's a Ghanaian or not. Hey, a whole Chief Justice to be cannot sit in front of national television to say I am a Ghanaian because I have a Ghanaian passport, I have a birth certificate. She cannot do it. She is speaking grammar, telling us that she's using words like what? Like a whole Chief Justice to be. Today, she cannot simply say, I am a Ghanaian because I was born in Ghana. My mom and dad are Ghanaians because they have birth certificate as Ghanaians. She's telling us nationality is a what? It's a matter of law. She's saying being born in Ghana does not guarantee you a Ghanaian citizenship. She says lineage determines your lineage. She goes back to say it's an originating process. When you have a birth certificate, it is just a document they write things on. It does not prove you a Ghanaian. This woman wants to be our Chief Justice. In America, this woman would never be Chief Justice. Let's be clear. If you are being vetted to go onto the Supreme Court of America, and you come and sit there and tell them that their birth certificate does not guarantee them as Americans. Do you know why Trump was after a year? Do you know why Trump was after Obama? that Obama is not American? Because Trump was trying to say that Obama, he wasn't originally born in America. He was not questioning Obama's lineage to Kenya or wherever. He wanted to put something in the heads of people that Obama wasn't born in America, so he's not American. But later, the birth certificate showed that Obama was born in America, but his family are from where? Are from Kenya. The same as any American. So as far as you are born in America, you have the right to become America president. I can never become the president of America because my birthplace is Ghana. And that is where I was born. Even though I've changed my nationality, I was born in Ghana. That is my birthplace. Your birthplace, that place is where the documents recognize. Why are you doing this to ourselves? Because of politics. Why are we destroying our future generation? Why are we destroying this nation? Why are we destroying because of this Ekufuado and MPP? See the embarrassment. Jack, let's go on.
Whenever I say PENDREAM TV, PENDREAM TV, there, I see them,